7-month-old kidnap drama is beyond disturbing. Court is in session. Today's case, the people versus Rebecca and Jake Haro, charged with misleading the public, obstruction of justice, and potentially engineering a deeply disturbing cover-up in the case of their missing 7-month-old son, Emmanuel Haro. What began as a story of maternal tragedy has unraveled into a web of contradictions, questionable motives, and a growing suspicion of foul play. Let's rewind the timeline and examine what exactly was reported and, more importantly, what wasn't. Rebecca Haro, a mother of 5 from Yucaipa, Southern California, told police and the media that her infant son, Emmanuel, vanished one night while she was in a Big 5 sporting goods parking lot. She said she had gone there around 10 p.m. to purchase a mouthguard for one of her other children, despite the late hour and having a baby with her. She claimed that while preparing to enter the store, she noticed a smell from Emmanuel's diaper. Rather than head inside, she decided to change him on what she described as a chair in the parking lot. That's when she said a stranger approached and said, "Hello," and before she could react, everything went white. She woke up disoriented with a black eye and no baby in sight. She immediately called 911 and said she searched the area, but no one had seen anything. No lights, no cameras, no clues.
I took him out of the car seat and I laid him on the chair. And I had his diapers right here. And then someone said, "Hola." And I couldn't even turn, and I don't remember nothing. I got up off the floor and I didn't see my child. Someone took him from me. I came back to get my phone and call 911. I ran to perimeter and there's nothing here. I didn't see him. I didn't see nothing. Nobody saw nothing. There's no cameras here. There's no lighting.
To the person who took my son, please just give him back to us. We'll forgive you. We won't bother you. We just want our baby boy.
He has little wavy hair and light brown hair, so soft, like a feather, with beautiful brown eyes. Beautiful baby, energetic, very playful, very happy.
Don't hurt him, and please feed him. Take care of him.
Please don't hurt him and protect him and just bring him back to his parents.
On the surface, it seemed like a heartbreaking and terrifying moment. But once the story hit public ears, the inconsistencies poured in. The evidence. Exhibit A. Rebecca's inconsistent storytelling. First, the use of the word chair. Let's pause on that. Who says they changed their baby on a chair in a Big 5 sporting goods parking lot at 10 p.m.? There are no chairs in parking lots. There are no random folding chairs or benches in dark commercial lots. Was she referring to the passenger seat, the ground, her trunk? The term chair doesn't fit the environment and feels oddly staged. It immediately raises eyebrows because it sounds like she was describing a scenario that happened somewhere more domestic, like inside a house. This single word has triggered speculation that the scene was either fabricated or occurred in a totally different location, possibly within the safety of 4 walls rather than outside under dark skies. Then we have the nature of the attack itself. Rebecca claimed she couldn't even turn around before being struck, that everything went white, and then she was unconscious. But the bruise? It was neatly placed under her eye, a location that almost certainly requires her to have faced her attacker. So which is it? Couldn't turn around, or was she facing the person? Logically, an impact that had to knock someone out cold should leave more than a small shiner. She also didn't go to the hospital. No emergency visit, no paramedic call-out, no medical report filed. That's extremely odd behavior for someone claiming to have been violently attacked in public. Instead of seeking help, she was upright and emotionally performative in front of cameras giving interviews to news crews within hours. The timeline doesn't make sense. and her recovery speed from such a serious incident is suspiciously convenient. It all feels too controlled, too rehearsed, and that only intensifies the suspicion that this isn't the whole story. It might not even be the real one at all.
Baby boy Emmanuel Haro has been snatched from his mom's car in California. He's currently missing. Mom has told the story, and I've looked at the words she uses, and I've got big red flags. Number one is she uses strange words to describe the attack that was made on her. She says she fell to the ground rather than I was knocked to the ground or I was punched to the ground. I just fell to the ground. She says when she realised that Emmanuel was missing, she checked her car. Not frantically searched her car, just she checked her car. Red flag number two for me is there is no concern for Emmanuel expressed in her words at all. None. No concern for her missing 7-month-old child. And finally, she refers to him in the past tense.
Exhibit B. Missing emotions and questionable tears. Rebecca appeared in several interviews, sobbing and hyperventilating. Her breathing was erratic, her voice trembled, and she clutched at her chest as if overwhelmed with despair. Her posture conveyed distress. Her tone was cracking with emotion, and she paused frequently as though trying to fight back the tears. But upon closer observation, something didn't add up. There were no tears, not a single one. Her eyes remained completely dry throughout the entire interview. No redness, no swelling, no streaked mascara, no puffiness around the eyes. There was absolutely no physical trace of someone who had genuinely cried or who had been in visible emotional turmoil for hours. Even her makeup was perfectly intact, and anyone who's truly sobbed uncontrollably knows how difficult it is to maintain a full face of makeup during a breakdown. Not a smudge, not a smear. Her eyeliner and mascara looked fresh, almost as if they had just been applied. This level of polish, in the mindset of a supposed crisis, raised even more questions. Her performance had all the trappings of distress, but none of the psychological evidence to back it up. It felt like she was performing grief rather than experiencing it. Her exaggerated breathing and the way she gasped and clutched her chest, the repetitive statements about how much she missed her baby. It all felt rehearsed, like she was playing a part in a scene she wrote herself. Her body language didn't match her words. To the average viewer, something felt off. Viewers noticed the disconnect almost immediately. Commenters rolled in questioning how someone who just lost a child could be that composed that quickly. How could she be on camera with such clarity, poise, and makeup perfection within hours of a child disappearing? It looked like acting, and not very convincing at that. The more people watched, the more they started to wonder if the tears weren't missing because they were held back, but because they were never there to begin with.
Lord, please forgive me for saying this, okay? This is the mother and father of the 7-month-old missing Emmanuel. I watched the video of the mother, and I don't believe her. Crying with no tears is always a big indicator to me of a motherfucking liar, okay? And then she heard somebody say, hola, hola, hola. You heard somebody say hola. And then next thing you know.
Exhibit C. Jake Haro's concerning behavior. Jake Haro, the baby's father, didn't help. In fact, his behavior and choice of words only deepened their suspicions already swirling around the case. During interviews, Jake referred to Emmanuel in the past tense. He was a happy boy, and he didn't have a birthmark. Those are not just casual slips, they are telling. Speaking of a missing child as if he's already gone suggests that Jake may know far more than he's letting on. It created an unsettling tone, almost as though he had already emotionally and mentally closed the chapter on Emmanuel.
We come to you guys asking you to help us find our son. He was abducted last night from Big 5. Somebody struck my wife while she was trying to change his diaper. And we just ask if anybody knows anything to please contact the Kaipa Police Department.
Don't hesitate, just call.
His name's Emmanuel. He's 7 months. He's 7 months old.
Have you been notified of any information yet by the authorities?
No, we have not.
They
haven't told us nothing.
They said they don't have any major updates.
Do you guys plan on doing a local search of your own?
We are
we
at
have
4 o'clock here at Kaiba.
the community set up a search party at 4:30. So just ask you guys if you can help us.
Please.
This is what he looks like. He's just a baby. Just give our son back, please.
He was wearing a black onesie with a Nike swoosh on him. If you know anything, please come forward. Please bring us back our son. Safe.
He also awkwardly described Emmanuel as a 7-month-old baby boy, a phrase that left many scratching their heads. It wasn't just clunky, it was bizarre. Most parents would simply say 7-month-old without hesitation. The strange phrasing made him appear rehearsed or disconnected, as if he was trying to recall a line rather than speak from the heart. More unsettling was Jake's demeanor. While Rebecca overperformed her grief, Jake seemed almost disengaged. His facial expressions were flat, his tone subdued. At times, he appeared to be faking wheezing, a weak attempt to stimulate tears that never came. And just like Rebecca, there were no visible signs of actual crying. The pair looked less like grieving parents and more like people performing grief under pressure, hoping to convince an audience rather than pleading for their child. But the most alarming thing? Jake's background. The fallout. As people online and in the community began to dig deeper, what they found shattered any lingering sympathy. Jake Haro, along with his previous partner Vanessa Haro, had a past drenched in violence and disturbing negligence. In 2021, they were charged with willful child cruelty. But the case goes even farther back to October 2018, when a 10-week-old baby girl in their care was rushed to Hamet Valley Hospital in critical condition. Her injuries were beyond shocking: fractured ribs, some fresh, some healing, a fractured skull, bleeding in the brain, swelling in her neck, and a healing leg fracture. The child was not only physically abused, but also showed signs of nutritional neglect. According to doctors, the injuries were not accidental. They reflected prolonged, repeated mistreatment. This wasn't a mistake. This was a pattern. Jake and Vanessa eventually pled guilty in June 2023 after a long legal battle. Jake received a sentence of 180 days in a sheriff's work release program, a punishment many felt was far too lenient. A 4-year prison term was suspended, and he was mandated to attend a child abuser treatment program. Vanessa faced nearly identical consequences, but the public wasn't satisfied. For many, it was a slap on the wrist for a crime that left a helpless infant with permanent damage. And now, Jake is under the microscope again. This time, he's also facing fresh legal troubles. He's been charged with being a felon and an addict in possession of a firearm, a serious federal offense. His court date looms, adding another dark layer to the already disturbing timeline. This isn't a man with a questionable past. This is someone who seems entangled in a cycle of criminal behavior, or that shows no sign of stopping. Meanwhile, the behavior of both Jake and Rebecca has taken an ominous turn. Instead of cooperating with law enforcement in the search for their son, they have chosen silence. They have lawyered up. They have refused to answer further questions. Rebecca, once vocal, now won't take a polygraph test unless her attorney is present. That in itself isn't unusual, but combined with everything else, it raises red flags. And perhaps most telling of all is what Emmanuel's grandmother had to say. She publicly confirmed that Jake and Rebecca are no longer assisting investigators. They are no longer returning calls. They are no longer helping search for their baby they claim to love. The silence is deafening, and for many, it speaks volumes.
Investigators say when they confronted Rebecca Haro about inconsistencies within her initial statement that she refused to continue any questioning. And tonight the grandmother has confirmed to us that the couple is no longer cooperating with investigators and has lawyered up just hours after they made that desperate public plea for their son's safe return. But investigators say there are inconsistencies with Haro's initial statement, and because of that, they cannot rule out foul play. The baby's grandmother is adamant the couple is innocent. She says Emmanuel is her daughter's pride and joy and that she waited years to have a baby boy of her own. The grandmother also says investigators asked her daughter to take a lie detector test, but her husband said no until they had a lawyer. She says her daughter is receiving death threats and her 2-year-old has been removed from the home as the search for baby Emmanuel goes on 48 hours after his mother claims someone ran off with him.
So what are we left with? A mother who displays no genuine grief, a father with a proven, documented history of harming an infant, a story that collapses under even the gentlest cross-examination, and 2 parents who have now chosen silence over cooperation, hiding behind an attorney when they should be screaming for justice. Investigators brought in a scent detection canine unit specifically trained to locate missing persons. These dogs can trace a human scent even days after a person has been in a location. Yet, Emmanuel's scent was completely absent from the Big 5 sporting goods parking lot. Not just the lot, but the surrounding area, the inside of the store, the perimeter, nothing. It was as if he was never there to begin with. Meanwhile, employees at the same Big 5 later stated they had seen Rebecca earlier that day. She already had the black eye she claimed was inflicted during the alleged kidnapping, and crucially, she was alone. No baby. When questioned, she casually dismissed the injury as the result of walking into a wall. That story would later become completely contradicted in her media interviews, where she claimed to have been knocked unconscious by an unknown assailant in the parking lot. So which is it? Was she assaulted, or did she bump into a wall? Was she with Emmanuel that night or not? These aren't small details. These are the foundational inconsistencies. They raise serious doubts not just about Rebecca's memory, but about her entire credibility. And it doesn't stop there. Just a foot away from the couple's home, investigators found a red substance on the ground. While authorities haven't officially confirmed what it is, earlier suspicion points to blood. If true, this would be devastating. Why would blood be found near the home and not on the scene of the alleged abduction? It doesn't align with the narrative the parents provided. Then came the bombshell revelation. Jake had reportedly contacted the Big 5 store weeks before the alleged incident, asking detailed questions about their security system. He claimed his car had been broken into and wanted to know about the cameras. On its own, that could be innocent. But in the context of this story, it reads more like premeditation. Was he scooping out the location? Was he searching for a place without surveillance where a crime could be staged without digital evidence? The plot thickened when the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children withdrew from the case. This is an organization that dictates its entire mission to finding lost children, and they pulled out. They cancelled the $5,000 reward they had initially offered. Why? Because even they could no longer align with the parents' version of events. Their withdrawal sent a message louder than any press conference. Something is deeply wrong with this story. When even seasoned investigators sent tracking dogs, national advocates, and witnesses can't corroborate the most basic claims, we are left with a terrifying possibility. This wasn't a kidnapping. This could be a cover up of something far more horrifying, something planned, orchestrated, and protected by lies. The verdict. That's the case. A baby is gone, a family has gone silent. The story they have told is cracked at every corner. No witnesses, no surveillance, no scent trail, no believable emotion. And the people who should be the most desperate to bring Emmanuel home, his own parents, seem more concerned with controlling the narrative than cooperating with investigators. Do we have grieving parents caught in the throes of trauma, unable to process the tragedy that unfolded? Are they just scared or overwhelmed by public scrutiny? Or are we witnessing a carefully constructed performance where every word is rehearsed, every tearless cry is calculated, and the real truth is hidden beneath layers of denial and deceit? Was this a moment of carelessness that spiraled into tragedy? Or was it something even more darker, an intentional cover up disguised as a desperate plea for help? Now, jury is yours. Guilty, innocent, or misunderstood. Comment your verdict below. We're all listening, and Emmanuel deserves answers.